4.2 trillion has been approved for some roads. And those roads are listed there. And I said, out of that 4.2 trillion, we only got 19 billion. And I'm saying that we should get more from that. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm not saying they should not get it, but we too should also get it. Out of 4.2 trillion, you give one zone 19 billion, you give another zone 3 trillion. It's unfair. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all. I'm not saying they should get it. We too should get it in the Northeast. That's the crux of my motion.
Well, this is so.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this is a motion concerning the laudable program of Mr. President. So I'm speaking, one, as a senator representing Mumbai Central, as well as the chairman, National Assembly Caucus of Northeast Zone, both Senate and House of Reps. Mr. President, the Senate recalls that at the Federal Executive Council meeting of Monday, 3rd February 2025, the federal government approved the sum of 4.2 trillion naira for the construction of Lagos-Calabar Road and other major highways and bridges across the country. Notes that these massive road infrastructure projects were conceived to deliberately address the deplorable state of federal road networks nationwide and the construction/rehabilitation of some, in line with the policy thrust of the current administration of His Excellency Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, to revamp the road infrastructure challenges in order to boost socio-economic development of this country. Comments, Mr. President, for this bold initiative, as it will go a long way to improve effective transport system as well as address challenges of insecurity, as criminal elements have taken advantage of the deplorable nature of highway road networks to perpetrate their nefarious and dastardly acts. Notes from the breakdown of the highway projects as listed in this day newspaper of Tuesday, 4th February 2025, and Daily Trust of Wednesday, 5th February 2025, respectively. The money will be spent on the following roads: Lagos-Calabar Highway, Delta State Access Road, Anambra State Access Road, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Auti-Edo section, Benin Airport area section, Third Mainland Bridge, Ado-Ekiti-Igede Road, Onisha-Owerri Expressway, Abia and Enugu State Road Projects, Odopani Junction to Apeti Central section of Calabar to Ikom and Goje Road, Abekuta Ajibo Road to Iyam Mose Road in Ogun State, Adulu Ajibo Road in Anambra State, Umuahia Ikwano Ikot Epene Road, Umuahia Umoduke, Ijebu Ego Tita in Ogun State, Lokoje Benin Road, Musasa Jos Road, Agai Kachia Baro Road in Niger State, Yola Fufure Gurun Road in Adamawa, and Karulami Road in Taraba. However, it is imperative to note that in this laudable project, the Northeast has only 2 road projects, that is, Yola Fufure Gurun Road in Adamawa State, 11 billion, and Karulami Road in Taraba State, 7 billion, totaling all about 19 billion out of the approved sum of 4.2 trillion, the whole zone. Also note that apart from these 2 road projects listed in the Northeast, there are other very important road networks which are in bad conditions, such as the Bauchi-Gombe Road, Biu Gombe Road, Proskum Gombe Road, Darazo Gombe Road, Numan Jalingo Road, Yola Mubi Road, Yola Michika, Madagali Goza, Bama Road, Gurore, Maya Balawa, Zing Jalingo Road, Maya Balawa, Jada, Ganye Road, Biu Gombe Road, Tumaraba, of course, Biu Dambua Maduguri Road, Biu Damatu Road, among others, which desperately require serious reconstruction and rehabilitation. Further notes that the Northeast is also the only zone in this country that's not connected to Mr. President's superhighway project embarked upon by this administration. I raised this issue before and I'm still raising it today, that Northeast is the only zone not connected to the superhighway project being undertaken by His Excellency Mr. President. Observes that the laudable intention behind the conception of these projects is to ensure connectivity by improving road safety with the aim of harnessing the viability of resources that abound across the length and breadth of this country, with a view to stimulating economic growth and development. Accordingly resolves, 1, commend the federal government for embarking on these ambitious and laudable projects that will go a long way to guarantee socio-economic and political well-being of the citizenry of this country. 2, urge the federal government to, as a matter of necessity, approve the rehabilitation of the listed deplorable roads in the Northeast. And 3, also urge the federal government to extend the renewed Hope Superhighway Road project to the Northeast so as to ensure full inclusion of the zone into the mainstream economic activities of this country. Thank you, Mr. President. I urge my colleagues to give support to this very important motion. Thank you.
Distinguished Chief Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. First and foremost, I commend my chairman of the Northeast Senators Forum for rising up to the occasion and giving us all the necessary leadership with a view to jealously guarding and protecting and championing the cause of the Northeast, which is the most marginalized region of the country, having regard to neglect or relegation to the background by successive administrations. Mr. President, distinguished senators, I wholeheartedly adopt all the submissions contained in this motion as mine, and further wish to add that the Northeast region, as I said earlier on, is the most marginalized. There is serious infrastructure deficit, especially with regard to road networks, which has the potentials of leapfrogging our economic development and potentials. But unfortunately, as contained in this motion, we have been relegated to the background in terms of the renewed hope projects, and more particularly road network. I want to crave the indulgence of my colleagues in the Senate to support this motion so that the northeastern part of the country would also benefit the way other regions are benefiting from the very laudable program of Mr. President. I also equally want to add that there is one road network that was not included in this motion, which is in my senatorial district, the Maiduguri Baga Road, is in a complete state of dilapidation and needs reconstruction. It's a road that starts from Maiduguri and leads up to the Lake Chad. So there is need for the inclusion of that road in the motion. At the appropriate time, I will move for an amendment so that this road would also be included as part of this motion. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Sani Musa.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. I'm Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. I stand to support this motion because of its importance. When we are talking about economic diversification, it does not only remains in how much revenue a country is generating, but it also translates to what kind of infrastructure and how that infrastructure is spread around the country. The previous administration made an initiative of a tax credit scheme. Even then, when that tax credit scheme was initiated, there were rules that were selected. Niger State happens to be a gateway for everything you know in terms of haulage between the south and the north. If you are coming either from the Lokoja axis, you will still cross Niger State. If you are coming from Lagos axis, you will still cross Niger State. From Jeba to Makera to Tegina to Bindingwari to Kaduna, that road is unmotorable. If you take from here to Mina to Suleja is just about 98 kilometers. That road has been there for about 14 years under construction with multiple of schemes. There is the Sukuk, and then there is also the tax initiative, the tax credit initiative, which NNPC is anchoring. But none is working. If you look at it again from Mina to Bida, we have the same thing, which the governor of Niger State have taken a bold step in doing the construction by the states. And then look at another road is Mina Tegina to Kwantagora. These are all federal roads. Niger State happens to have the longest road network in this country. But I will be surprised to see that a road that there are no people there, no human beings. When you are talking of number, we are talking about doing something to benefit people, you do it where people will get the benefit. You are taking Baro, Kacha, Agaye Road, when there's nobody on that road. You are doing it because of Baro Port. Baro Port is not in existence. Nothing is there. So if you are spending 4-point-something trillion and all the roads concentrated in one place, how fair is that? I think the Senate need to call on the Minister of Works. He should appear before the Senate so that we can review this thing. That is my take, Mr. President.
Senator Zam.
Your Excellency, the Senate President, distinguished colleagues, I'm Senator Dr. Titus Zam. I represent Benue Northwest Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to support the motion presented by Senator Danjuma Goje about the need to expand the scope or the size of road networks in the country that require urgent federal government attention. And in supporting this motion, sir, they say charity begins at home. My own situation might even be worse than the rest of the roads that may be requiring federal government attention, because the Makodi Naka Road, which falls within my senatorial district and indeed my immediate local government of origin, as I speak to you, is no longer passable. And that happens to be the stretch that is home to all manner of insecurity that my own senatorial district is bedeviled with. Time and time again, Mr. Senate President, the attention of these hallowed chambers to the need for us to do a holistic assessment of the road network in this country. Let us at least pick two roads in each of the senatorial districts here that are federal government roads, so that we can have a holistic approach to this, so that no part of this country will be left out in the federal government effort to take care of the road infrastructure in this country. I therefore associate myself with the submission made by the two previous speakers that the Minister of Works be invited to these chambers to have an interface with us so that we can present this dire need of the Senate for him to take us into consideration so that all the parts of this country will be carried along in his decision to take care of the areas that may be requiring federal government attention as far as the road networks of this country is concerned. Thank you, Mr. Senate President, and